A wheelchair leaned against the corner of the sidewalk. The iron frame was already rusted, the small wheels worn down, almost without strength to turn. Sitting in it was a young woman. Her messy hair fell over her face, marked by time and sadness, while her hands held a small packet of colorful candies, the only means she had to try to get something to eat that day. The sun beat down hard on the busy street. Cars passed by, people in a hurry, eyes that looked away as if she were invisible. But she was not invisible. Every harsh word, every gesture of disdain, every mocking laugh hit her like a stone in the chest. She held out her hand, wearing a timid smile, trying to appear strong. "Miss, would you like a candy?" "Only $2. Some people didn't even look. Others stopped just to hurt her with words. "Go find a real job," said a man in a suit, throwing his head back as if he owned the world. She lowered her eyes, not answering. It was hard to explain to those who didn't want to hear that she was already working, that selling those candies was the only way she had to survive. But it didn't stop there. A group of young people walked by laughing, and one of them, without mercy, threw the remains of a soda cup over her. The cold liquid ran down her hair, her face. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath, trying to hold back tears. Life seemed like an endless sequence of humiliations. Cold days, long nights, hunger, thirst, fear. Everything piled up like a weight on her fragile shoulders. And yet she was there, firm, trying to resist. Isabella, that was her name. A beautiful woman despite her state. Her skin, once fair and delicate, was now sunburned. The smile that once lit up happy moments had faded over time, all because of sadness, abandonment, and loneliness. She remembered her childhood, the days she played in the backyard of the old house, the smell of her mother's cooking, the affection she sometimes received, even if brief. But it all disappeared in an instant, when her mother left her at a shelter. She remembered the door closing, the sound echoing through the empty hallway, the feeling that the entire world had disappeared along with her. In the shelter, the routine was harsh. Cold walls, thin mattresses, scarce food. There were children who had lost everything too, some even more traumatized, others who had learned to become tough, to close their hearts. Isabella tried to adapt, but never got used to the indifference. Every night was a battle to sleep without feeling completely alone. As she wiped her face with her own hands on the sidewalk, a soft voice interrupted her thoughts. "Miss, I want to buy all your candies." Isabella slowly raised her eyes. In front of her stood an elegant woman, dressed in expensive clothes, dark sunglasses, a strong perfume. She was one of those people who, at first glance, seemed untouchable, unreachable. "All of them?" Isabella asked, unable to believe it. "Yes, all of them. How much?" Isabella's hands trembled as she counted. The woman took out a high-value bill from her purse and handed it over, without waiting for change. But she didn't stop there. She stood there, watching Isabella with a gaze that mixed curiosity and compassion. "Can I sit here with you for a bit?" she asked. Isabella didn't know what to answer. She just nodded. They sat down. The conversation began timidly, with simple questions. "How did you end up here? Where is your family?" Isabella took a deep breath before answering. "My mother left me when I was little. I grew up in shelters, but one day I ran away. I thought it would be better, but it wasn't. I never saw anyone from my family again." The woman listened silently. Then she took a deep breath, her eyes welling up, and said something that made Isabella's heart stop for a moment. "You know, I lost someone too. My daughter. She was taken from me when she was still a baby. I searched for her for years, but I never found her." There was a heavy silence. The wind seemed to stop. Isabella felt a lump in her throat but didn't know why. She just looked at this woman with a tightening in her chest. "Where are you watching this story from? Which city? Leave it in the comments so we can send you a kiss." Now, back to the story. The two continued talking. The millionaire, named Helena, began asking more specific questions, things only a mother would remember deep in her heart. When were you born? What day? Do you have any birthmarks? Isabella was surprised but answered, I was born on March 14th. I have a small mark here on my rib, like a star. Helena's legs shook. She took off her sunglasses and tears began to fall. Her heart was pounding so hard it seemed it could burst. My God, she whispered. It's you. It's you, my daughter. Isabella was confused, scared. What do you mean? Helena held her hands tightly. You are my daughter. I searched for you my whole life. Isabella's eyes filled with tears. It was impossible to believe. After so many years alone, abandoned, suddenly someone was calling her daughter. I don't know what to say, she stammered. You don't need to say anything. Come with me. You will never go through that again. And there, in the middle of the street, mother and daughter hugged for the first time after so many years. A hug that seemed to heal all wounds, erase all pain. People around stopped to watch, confused. But it didn't matter. Life was giving Isabella something she had never dared to dream of. Love, family, a home. Helena took Isabella home, gave her a bath, new clothes, food. But more than that, gave her affection, dignity, and Isabella, for the first time, felt that she belonged somewhere. In the following days, Isabella struggled to believe it was real. Every time she woke up, she looked around, afraid it might be a dream. Helena noticed this and reminded her, You are safe now. You will never return to the streets. But the story didn't end there. Painful memories still returned. At night, Isabella woke up terrified, having nightmares. She dreamed of the streets, the cold, hunger. She dreamed of people passing by, laughing, throwing things. Helena, always patient, embraced her and said, It's okay. I'm here. Over time, Helena did more. She hired doctors, physiotherapists, psychologists. She wanted to give her daughter not only comfort, but a new life. Isabella cried when she was able to take a hot bath alone for the first time. She cried when she put on new clothes, when she ate at the table, when she lay down on a soft bed. But the emotional scars ran deep. Gradually, Helena discovered details that made her cry. Isabella told her about the days without food, the dangers she faced, the times she thought about giving up on living. She explained that the wheelchair was donated after she was hit by a car while sleeping on the sidewalk. Helena listened, feeling a mixture of pain and gratitude. Pain imagining everything her daughter had gone through, and gratitude that she was alive. Over time, Isabella began studying. At first, she was afraid to enter a classroom full of people, afraid of judgment. But Helena was beside her, encouraging, You are capable. You are strong. You will succeed. And she did. She learned, grew, dreamed again. Isabella often remembered each difficult moment, the days she cried in silence, the nights she was alone in shelters. Every memory was a scar that now began to turn into strength. Years later, Isabella graduated. She didn't stop there. She became a motivational speaker, sharing her story of resilience. She inspired others never to give up. She visited shelters, helped young people on the streets, showing that even in the darkest moments, life could surprise you. Helena, in turn, transformed not only into a mother but also a partner. Together, they rebuilt the story that time had almost erased. Every smile from Isabella was a reminder that love, even lost, could be found again. And that is the story of Isabella, the woman who found happiness when she least expected it. Because sometimes life can be harsh, but there is always hope for those who believe.